Good morning, afternoon, everyone. I'm excited to welcome you to this presentation on human rights and justice, origins to modern impact. Today, we'll explore the historical foundations behind these crucial concepts and understand their importance in our world today. Together, we'll uncover how the fight for human rights and justice has evolved and why it continues to shape our society in meaningful ways. Let's dive in. Here, we explore the early philosophical and religious foundations that shaped human rights. On the philosophical side, ancient thinkers, like Zeno of Citium, contributed ideas about human dignity, moral equality, and natural law. These concepts laid important groundwork for how we understand human rights today. On the religious side, teachings provided ethical principles and a moral framework that emphasized human dignity and rights, reinforcing the importance of treating others with respect. Together, these philosophical contributions and religious influences form the foundational ideas that continue to inform our approach to human rights. The image of Zeno reminds us of the enduring impact of these early philosophies, while the icons highlight the connection to both philosophical and religious traditions. Here we see a line graph tracing the progression of human rights codification over time, highlighting some pivotal milestones. Starting with the Magna Carta in 1215, which laid the groundwork for limiting the power of rulers. Then, moving forward to the English Bill of Rights in 1689, which further advanced individual freedoms. The French Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen in 1789 marked a significant leap, emphasizing universal rights during the French Revolution. Finally, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948 represents a major global consensus, dramatically increasing the level of codification and setting the standard for modern human rights. This progression shows how human rights have developed gradually, with each milestone building on the last to establish more comprehensive protections. Here, we're looking at the progression from natural rights to legal protections. First, natural rights are philosophical ideas about the inherent freedoms and entitlements that every person has simply by being human. These concepts have formed the foundation for much of our understanding of justice and equality. Next, we see the transitional process, where these ideas evolve into formal legal frameworks. This shift happens through social and political developments that give these rights more concrete expression, moving from abstract ideals to specific laws. Finally, legal codification is about embedding these rights within constitutions and international laws, making them enforceable protections. This solidifies their status and ensures they are not just theoretical, but have real-world application and legal backing. The image of the open book reminds us of the importance of documented knowledge and legal texts in preserving and applying these rights. Together, these points illustrate how concepts of rights move from philosophy into the realm of enforceable law. Here we see a breakdown of the various categories of human rights and the emphasis placed on each. Civil rights take the lead, comprising 35%, which highlights the importance of basic freedoms and protections. Political rights follow closely at 30%, emphasizing participation in the political process and governance. Economic rights account for 15%, reflecting access to fair working conditions and economic opportunities. Social rights make up 12%, covering areas like education and healthcare, while cultural rights represent 8%, which focuses on preserving cultural identity and expression. This chart clearly shows how these different rights are prioritized and reminds us that human rights encompass a broad range of essential protections. Here, we're focusing on the vital role international organizations play in enforcing human rights standards worldwide. The United Nations, depicted by this image of its flag, is central to this effort. It creates and promotes human rights norms, encouraging countries to cooperate globally to uphold these important standards. The olive branch icon symbolizes peace and diplomacy, reflecting the UN's approach to fostering respect for human rights through collaboration rather than conflict. This cooperation is essential for maintaining consistent and effective enforcement across different regions. Here we see how human rights form the foundation of modern justice through a rights-based approach to legal interpretation. Essentially, when courts interpret laws, they do so with core human rights principles in mind. This ensures that the laws uphold fundamental freedoms and promote equality for everyone. The image of the gavel reinforces the authority of the legal system while reminding us that justice must be grounded in these essential rights. By applying this rights-based lens, the law becomes a powerful tool to protect and advance human dignity. Here we focus on how human rights serve as a crucial defense against tyranny and discrimination. First, human rights cases play a vital role, with courts stepping in to prevent state abuses against minorities, thereby reinforcing important legal protections. Next, anti-discrimination laws create a solid legal framework that guarantees equal treatment and works to reduce systemic bias in society. Finally, these human rights act as a safeguard that limits arbitrary government actions, protecting civil liberties and promoting justice. The image of the weathered chain symbolizes both the long struggle against oppression and the strength of these protections in breaking those chains. Here we explore three fundamental principles that underpin human rights and the rule of law. First, accountability is crucial. It means that everyone, whether individuals or institutions, must be answerable for their actions under the law. Without this, justice cannot be truly served. Next, predictability ensures that laws are applied consistently, which helps set clear expectations for how people should behave and how governance is carried out. This consistency is essential for maintaining order and trust in the legal system. Lastly, equality before the law guarantees that all individuals receive equal protection and fair treatment within the legal framework. No one is above the law, and fairness is the cornerstone of justice. Together, these principles create a legal environment where rights are protected and justice is upheld. The image here of the Code du Travail, alongside everyday office items, reminds us that these concepts are both formal and practical, influencing daily life and work. Here, we explore the crucial role human rights play in supporting democracy. First, protecting civil liberties is fundamental. This means ensuring freedoms like speech and assembly, which are essential for people to express their views and organize peacefully. Without these freedoms, democratic governance simply cannot function. Next, human rights enable participation by guaranteeing the right to vote and to take part in free and fair elections. This participation is the cornerstone of any democratic system, allowing citizens to choose their representatives and influence policies. Finally, fostering civic information is key. Human rights support access to education and information, which helps create an informed citizenry capable of making thoughtful decisions about their government and society. The image of the ballot box underscores the importance of these rights in maintaining a vibrant, participatory democracy. Here we explore how equality and human dignity play foundational roles in shaping civilization. First, human dignity, symbolized by the heart icon, forms the moral and legal basis that acknowledges the intrinsic worth of every person. This concept is essential because it underpins how we treat each other as individuals. Moving to equality in law, represented by the balanced scale. This principle ensures that social institutions and legal systems promote fairness and equal treatment for all members of society. Finally, social influence, depicted by the school icon, highlights how these values go beyond laws. They shape social norms and institutions over time, guiding progress and justice across generations. Together, these elements illustrate how deeply interconnected principles of dignity and equality are in building a just civilization. This line chart clearly illustrates the significant social progress over the past decade, driven largely by advancements in human rights. We can see that literacy rates have steadily increased from 65% in 2010 to an impressive 98% by 2019, reflecting improved access to education. At the same time, child mortality rates have dramatically decreased from 120 per 1,000 live births down to just 15, showing better healthcare and living conditions for children. Likewise, poverty rates have declined from half the population living in poverty to only 10%, indicating stronger economic opportunities and social support systems. Together, these trends highlight how intertwined improvements in education, health, and economic well-being are essential to advancing human rights and driving overall social progress. Here, we focus on three essential elements of conflict resolution and human rights. First, prevention is key. By intervening early and applying human rights standards, we can stop conflicts before they escalate, symbolized here by the shield icon. Next, accountability is critical. Tribunals and truth commissions play a vital role in upholding justice and ensuring that violations are addressed, which is represented by the gavel. Finally, reconciliation emphasizes reparations and community healing, fostering lasting peace and social restoration, symbolized by the dove. Together, these steps create a comprehensive approach to resolving conflicts and protecting human rights. The image of the two men shaking hands reflects the ultimate goal of these efforts, building trust and unity in our communities. Here, we focus on two major challenges in human rights enforcement. First, cultural relativism. This refers to the debates that emerge because different cultures interpret and accept human rights in diverse ways. What is considered a fundamental right in one society may be viewed differently in another, complicating universal acceptance. On the other hand, state sovereignty and political will play a crucial role. National priorities and political decisions can often restrict or delay the effective enforcement of human rights. Governments may prioritize other issues or resist external pressure, making it difficult to implement consistent protections. These challenges highlight the complex balance between respecting cultural diversity and ensuring universal human rights standards. To wrap up, let's look at the continuing impact of human rights. It all started with foundational ideas. These principles emerged as essential ethical concepts that shaped our early understanding of justice and human dignity. Over time, these ideas were codified into laws and international agreements, providing formal protections for individuals and communities. Beyond the legal realm, human rights have profoundly influenced governance systems, social policies, and community development around the world. However, despite this progress, significant challenges remain. We must stay vigilant and committed to addressing ongoing human rights issues to ensure these principles truly benefit everyone. The image here of vintage typewriter with social equity prominently displayed reminds us that the story of human rights is both historic and still very much alive today.